as we once again consider the tax rate on these historic horse racing casino-style slot machines. So I'm remembering the debate we had on this floor 13 months ago when the future of this form of gambling was in our hands. We were told then that Senate Bill 120 was essential to preserve this relatively new slot machine industry and that it was essential for Kentucky's horse industry. There were billions of dollars on the line, and we faced enormous political pressure to vote in favor of Senate Bill 120. Despite that pressure, 38 of us voted no, and an additional 7 members didn't vote at all on the bill. But we voted no for different reasons, and I want to acknowledge that. Some opposed the expansion of casino-style slot machines across the Commonwealth altogether. Others of us, including myself, objected to the outrageously low tax rate on these machines. And I want to be clear, I'm not opposed to expanded gaming. I voted yes on the gentleman's well-thought-out House Bill 606 last week to legalize sports betting in the state, to legalize it, regulate it, and fairly tax it. And I support Kentucky's horse industry. What I am opposed to is an explosion of new slot machine facilities and additional slot machines across the state that are generating enormous industry profits for a powerful few, while contributing nothing to local governments, and only a tiny fraction of what a reasonable proposal would raise for Kentucky's general fund. The amount bet on historical horse racing has grown dramatically in Kentucky in recent years. I had to double-check these numbers and triple-check them because they're so astonishing. In 2015, the amount wagered was $373 million. $373 million. In 2021, the amount wagered jumped to $4.6 billion. That's a 12-fold increase. By the end of 2022, the amount projected is an even heftier $6 billion. That rapid growth is expected to continue with slot machine gambling facilities increasing across the state and enough new slot machines already approved to more than double Kentucky's current number of machines. In 2015, there were 679 of these machines. We currently have 5,591 casino-style slot machines operating in the state and 6,565 additional machines that have already been approved, bringing us to a grand total of 12,156 HHR casino-style slot machines once those approved machines are installed. Typical full-blown casinos, like we have in Indiana, like they have in Ohio, have 750 to 2,000 slot machines. Now, once these new, already approved machines are in place, Kentucky will have 10 similarly sized slot machine facilities, what any other state might call casinos. I'll point out where some of those new machines are going. There are new approved machines, 145 of them at Kentucky Downs, 2,500 new machines at Turfway, 1,000 new machines at Churchill, 888 new machines in Derby City Gaming, which will soon be in my district, Ellis Park, 882 new machines, 600 new slot machines in Corbin, Williamsburg, 550 new machines in Bowling Green, adding to the 450 that are already there. So for years, we've all heard Kentucky politicians talk about bringing casino gaming to the state and the huge amounts of revenue that will be generated. I hear this when I've gone door to door campaigning in my own district, right? We need more money for social workers. We need more money for schools. We need to legalize gambling. We need to legalize cannabis to raise more money. Well, this House has voted to legalize medical cannabis without a penny of new revenue, which is right because we should not tax medicine. We all agree on that. But now we have agreed to expand gambling considerably without raising anywhere near the revenue that's needed and that our state deserves. Since last year's passage of Senate Bill 120, Kentucky is getting and is expanding casino-style gambling facilities on a very large scale, but without the casino-style tax revenues comparable to other states. So here are some more facts and figures. In Kentucky, only 7 to 8% of the gross commission from these machines goes to Kentucky's general fund, 7 to 8%. In Pennsylvania, 55% on electronic gaming machines goes to their state. West Virginia's rate is 53.5%. Ohio's rate is 33%. Indiana's graduated rate ranges from 15 to 40%. And Missouri's rate comes in a sad little 21%, which still dwarfs Kentucky's 7 to 8% rate. Kentucky's outrageously low tax rate on these slot machines means that we're missing out on state money we could invest in teacher salaries, school mental health, pay bumps for social workers and our public employees, full-day kindergarten and pre-K, health care, public pensions, infrastructure, strengthening the safety net, and so much more. And the local governments that house these casinos receive no local tax revenue, unlike in Indiana, unlike Ohio, and unlike other states. So let's talk about the jobs issue for a minute. The median employee pay for a Churchill Downs employee is $26,000 a year, meaning fully half of their employees make less than $26,000. Meanwhile, the CEO's base salary is $10.4 million, and stock prices are up 354% in the past 5 years. They can afford to give their employees a raise. Last year, when Churchill Downs was desperate for Senate Bill 120 to pass, promises were made. Many of you may recall a letter sent last year to the House Democratic Caucus by the CEO of Churchill Downs. In that letter, he wrote that the state's horse tracks are, quote, committed to working constructively to revise and raise the tax structure on HHR, including implementing a graduated tax structure. There were, of course, no meaningful talks in the months that followed about raising the rate, and the additional amount proposed in this legislation is nowhere close to adequate or reasonable. If the amount bet on HHR machines rises from today's $6 billion annually to the $12 billion that's projected, House Bill 607 would raise only around $15 million more for the state's general fund. Raising the rate to even the low end of neighboring states would bring that revenue to more than $200 million per year. So that's like leaving a $15 tip on a $1,000 banquet. If you think that's a good deal for Kentucky, then you should vote yes on House Bill 607. But this is not a good faith offer, and Churchill Downs has not operated in good faith with this body, with their neighbors in Louisville, nor with the people of Kentucky. To add insult to injury, or to add insult on top of insult, the new tax money provided by this bill comes out of purses and development funds. That is, the additional $15 million comes directly from the horse industry. Not 1 cent of it comes from the casino corporations that own and operate the HHR slot machine facilities. They will continue to make the same exorbitant profits and continue to pay the same outrageously low tax rate. To be clear, we're talking about Churchill Downs, a partnership of casino investors, a New Mexico casino corporation, and Keeneland, so not your mom and pop facilities. The powerful industry operating these slot machines has high-paid lobbyists, enormous profits to protect, a blank check granted by this body in the form of corporate welfare, and the ability to shut down any competition that would benefit the state's general fund and small business owners. Just last week, we saw that powerful industry flex its considerable muscle and pressure this body to outright ban so-called gray machines, rather than choosing to regulate and tax them. Some of you spoke out passionately and eloquently and beautifully about the inconsistent messages members of this body have received to support one kind of gambling machine on the one hand, run by the powerful interests, and to oppose, to outright ban gambling machines on the other hand that are run by small local businesses. If we're going to allow the big money to shut down their competitors, we should expect at the very least that they keep their promises and that they pay their fair share. This body passed Senate Bill 120 last year, but we've been denied the honest and good faith conversations for a fair tax rate that we were promised in return for that vote. Unfortunately, it's the people of Kentucky who are left holding the bag while a rich and powerful few race away with the money that should have benefited us all. Mr. Speaker, fellow members, there's no need for us to pull the handle on this casino slot machine scam to find out who wins and who loses when this all plays out. This body has already chosen the winners and the losers. The winners are the wealthy corporations who've put a stranglehold on the slot machine industry in Kentucky. The losers are our mom and pop businesses, our public school kids needing textbooks and transportation, our public workers, our seniors needing health care, medication, and a secure retirement, and our families needing food on the table. This is a bad deal for Kentucky, and it's time we stand up to the industry that's put us in this position. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.